As part of the pre-screening process, when Full Circle is evaluating a case, a very important question that we ask of expectant parents is, do you have any Native American heritage or Indian heritage? I used to ask the question in what is considered the politically correct way. Do you have any Native American heritage? And then one expectant parent said to me, no, I don't have any Native American heritage, but I do have Indian heritage. And so in that moment, I realized that in order to get the honest and complete answer, I will have to ask in both ways. When we ask this question, it is very common for somebody to say, oh, I think my grandmother may have had a little Sioux, or I think my great-great-grandfather may have had some Cherokee. When they answer in this way, we do a family tree, we draw up a family tree, and we try to trace a little bit of information about the Native American heritage. It is not a matter for step-parents. This was blood lineage up the family tree. When we have this information, there are essentially two ways to handle it. If there's Native American heritage and both expectant parents are not involved in the adoption planning, only the birth mother is involved or the expectant mother, in those cases, we have to treat the matter as an involuntary adoption because his rights are going to be terminated involuntarily. In those cases, this triggers the Indian Child Welfare Act, which is one of the strongest child welfare laws in the country, and it's federal in nature, which means it applies in all states and it trumps state law. It is more important than the state law that might be applicable here. And in those instances, we have to give a notice to the tribe and we say, here's the family tree that we're aware of. Please let us know if you want to intervene in this matter and have some say in the family with whom this child is placed. In most instances, when notices are sent, the child's lineage is so remote that the tribe says that they don't see this child as eligible to be enrolled, and no, they're not interested in having a say in the matter of where the child is placed. But in some instances, the tribe can care and say, yes, this child would be eligible to be a member of our tribe, and we would like to have some say. Obviously, most expectant parents aren't pleased with that option or possibility, but we have to respect the federal law, and the purpose of the federal law was to minimize and obliterate the destruction of the tribal cultures in our country. We don't want children being taken involuntarily from the tribes, then being placed in a culture that isn't their own, and further leading to the deterioration of the tribal culture. So wherever possible, we would want to honor that. The other option is if both expectant parents are part of the planning for the child, and it is a completely voluntary plan. In such instances, the expectant parents can say, we have privacy interests and we would like our confidentiality maintained. We don't particularly want to have the tribe exercising an option to have the child placed elsewhere. We would like to choose the family. And in those instances, an ICWA hearing or Indian Child Welfare Act hearing can be held in the appropriate family court. And at that time, an attorney would say to the judge, Your Honor, we think this child could be a child with Native American heritage, but the biological parents of the child are completely voluntarily and in concert with each other making a conscious voluntary plan for the child. They would like to choose the family, and they would like a finding from this court that their confidentiality and privacy is to be honored and that there is no duty to give notice to the tribe. In those instances, the court can make findings consistent with the expectant parent's right to make that decision and not involve other parties. So when an expectant parent approaches any adoption professional, it is very important for that adoption professional not to shy away from this very important question out of fear that the case will not be able to move forward through their office. If it's not, it's not. You have to follow the law. At one point, many years ago, an adoption attorney with whom I was working on a case, I said to this adoption attorney, do you want to do the tribal notices or shall our office? And this attorney said, We always ask the expectant parent, you don't have any Native American heritage, do you? And they always say no. And I said, well, we would prefer to ask the question in a way that is authentically likely to get the truth because we want to really observe the law, said very diplomatically. And so it's very, very important in a field where a lot happens in the privacy of an office. It's very important that these matters be handled with integrity and compliance with the law.